Peter Andreas Thiel, born the 11th of October 1967, is a German-American billionaire entrepreneur and venture capitalist. A co-founder of PayPal, Palantir Technologies, and Founders Fund, he was the first outside investor in Facebook. He was ranked No. 4 on the Forbes Midas list of 2014, with a net worth of $2.2 billion, and No. 391 on the Forbes 400 in 2020, with a net worth of $2.1 billion. As of June 25, 2021, Thiel has an estimated net worth of $7.24 billion and is ranked 385th on the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. Born in Frankfurt, he moved with his family to the United States as an infant. He spent a portion of his upbringing in southern Africa before the family settled in California in 1977. He studied philosophy at Stanford University, graduating with a BA in 1989. He then earned his JD from Stanford Law School in 1992. After graduation, he worked as a judicial law clerk for Judge James Larry Edmondson of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit, as a securities lawyer for Sullivan and Cromwell, as a speechwriter for former U.S. Secretary of Education William Bennett, and as a derivatives trader at Credit Suisse. He founded Thiel Capital Management in 1996. He co-founded PayPal with Max Levchin and Luke Nosek in 1998, serving as chief executive officer until its sale to eBay in 2002 for $1.5 billion. After PayPal, he founded Clarium Capital, a global macro hedge fund based in San Francisco. In 2004, he launched Palantir Technologies, a big data analysis company, and served as its chairman through 2019. In 2005, he launched Founders Fund with PayPal partners Ken Howery and Luke Nosek. Earlier, Thiel became Facebook's first outside investor when he acquired a 10.2% stake for $500,000 in August 2004. He sold the majority of his shares in Facebook for over $1 billion in 2012, but remains on the board of directors. He co-founded Valor Ventures in 2010, co-founded Mithril Capital, serving as investment committee chair in 2012, and served as a part-time partner at Y Combinator from 2015 to 2017. Through the Thiel Foundation, Thiel governs the grant-making bodies Breakout Labs and Thiel Fellowship, and funds non-profit research into artificial intelligence, life extension, and seasteading. In 2016, Thiel confirmed that he had funded Hulk Hogan in the Bolia v. Gawker lawsuit because Gawker had previously outed him as gay. The lawsuit eventually bankrupted Gawker. A co-founder of the Stanford Review, he is a conservative libertarian who is critical of high government spending, high debt levels, and foreign wars. He has donated to over 50 political figures on the American right, including Donald Trump and Meg Whitman. He also maintains a political action committee, Free Forever. Childhood. Thiel was born in Frankfurt am Main, West Germany, on the 11th of October 1967, to Susanne and Klaus Friedrich Thiel. 14. The family migrated to the United States when Peter was 1 year old and lived in Cleveland, Ohio, where his father worked as a chemical engineer. Klaus then worked for various mining companies, creating an itinerant upbringing for Thiel and his younger brother, Patrick Michael Thiel. 16. Thiel's mother became a U.S. citizen, but his father did not. Before settling in Foster City, California, in 1977, the Thiels lived in South Africa and Southwest Africa, modern-day Namibia. Peter changed elementary schools 7 times. He attended a strict establishment in Swakopmund that required students to wear uniforms and utilized corporal punishment, such as striking students' hands with a ruler. This experience instilled a distaste for uniformity and regimentation, later reflected in his support for individualism and libertarianism. Thiel played Dungeons and Dragons, was an avid reader of science fiction, with Isaac Asimov and Robert A. Heinlein among his favorite authors, and a fan of J.R.R. Tolkien's works, stating as an adult that he had read The Lord of the Rings over 10 times. 6 firms: Palantir Technologies, Valor Ventures, Mithril Capital, Lembers LLC, Rivendell LLC and Arda Capital, that he founded, adopted names originating from Tolkien. Education. Thiel excelled in mathematics, and scored first in a California-wide mathematics competition while attending Bowditch Middle School in Foster City. 21. At San Mateo High School, he read Ayn Rand, admired the optimism and anti-communism of then-President Ronald Reagan, and became valedictorian of his graduating class in 1985. He studied philosophy at Stanford University. During that time, debates on identity politics and political correctness were ongoing. A Western Culture program, which was criticized by the Rainbow Agenda because of a perceived over-representation of the achievements of European men, was replaced with a Culture, Ideas and Values course, which instead pushed diversity and multiculturalism. This replacement provoked controversy on the campus and led to Thiel co-founding the Stanford Review, a conservative and libertarian newspaper, in 1987 with funding from Irving Kristol. Thiel served as the Stanford Review's first editor-in-chief and remained in that post until completing his Bachelor of Arts in 1989. Over the years, Thiel has continued that relationship, consulting with the top editorial staff several times a year, hosting events at his house, donating to the newspaper and placing graduating students in internships or jobs within his network. Thiel enrolled in Stanford Law School and earned his Juris Doctor degree in 1992. While at Stanford, Thiel met René Girard, whose mimetic theory influenced him. Mimetic theory posits that human behavior is based upon mimesis, and that imitation can engender pointless conflict. Girard notes the productive potential of competition. It is because of this unprecedented capacity to promote competition within limits that always remain socially, if not individually, acceptable that we have all the amazing achievements of the modern world. But states that competition stifles progress once it becomes an end in itself. Rivals are more apt to forget about whatever objects are the cause of the rivalry and instead become more fascinated with one another. Thiel applied this theory to his personal life and business ventures, stating, "The big problem with competition is that it focuses us on the people around us, and while we get better at the things we're competing on, we lose sight of anything that's important, or transcendent, or truly meaningful in our world." PayPal. Further information, PayPal section Early history. With Confinity, Thiel realized they could develop software to bridge a gap in making online payments. Although the use of credit cards and expanding automated teller machine networks provided consumers with more payment options, not all merchants had the necessary hardware to accept credit cards. Thus, consumers had to pay with exact cash or check. Thiel wanted to create a type of digital wallet for consumer convenience and security by encrypting data on digital devices, and in 1999 Confinity launched PayPal. PayPal promised to open up new possibilities for handling money. Thiel viewed PayPal's mission as liberating people from the erosion of the value of their currencies due to inflation. Thiel spoke in 1999. We're definitely onto something big. The need PayPal answers is monumental. Everyone in the world needs money, to get paid, to trade, to live. Paper money is an ancient technology and an inconvenient means of payment. You can run out of it. It wears out. It can get lost or stolen. In the 21st century, people need a form of money that's more convenient and secure, something that can be accessed from anywhere with a PDA or an internet connection. Of course, what we're calling convenient for American users will be revolutionary for the developing world. Many of these countries' governments play fast and loose with their currencies. They use inflation and sometimes wholesale currency devaluations, like we saw in Russia and several Southeast Asian countries last year, referring to the 1998 Russian and 1997 Asian financial crisis, to take wealth away from their citizens. Most of the ordinary people there never have an opportunity to open an offshore account or to get their hands on more than a few bills of a stable currency like US dollars. Eventually PayPal will be able to change this. In the future, when we make our service available outside the US and as internet penetration continues to expand to all economic tiers of people, PayPal will give citizens worldwide more direct control over their currencies than they ever had before. It will be nearly impossible for corrupt governments to steal wealth from their people through their old means, because if they try, the people will switch to dollars or pounds or yen, in effect dumping the worthless local currency for something more secure. When PayPal launched at a press conference in 1999, representatives from Nokia and Deutsche Bank sent $3 million in venture funding to Thiel using PayPal on their Palm pilots. PayPal then continued to grow through mergers in 2000 with Elon Musk's online financial services company X.com, and with Pixo, a company specializing in mobile commerce. These mergers allowed PayPal to expand into the wireless phone market, and transformed it into a safer and more user-friendly tool by enabling users to transfer money via a free online registration and email rather than by exchanging bank account information. PayPal went public on 15 February 2002 and was sold to eBay for $1.5 billion in October of that year. Thiel remained CEO of the company until the sale. His 3.7% stake in the company was worth $55 million at the time of acquisition. In Silicon Valley circles, Thiel is colloquially referred to as the Don of the PayPal Mafia. Clarium Capital. Further information: Clarium Capital. Thiel used $10 million of his proceeds to create Clarium Capital Management, a global macro hedge fund focusing on directional and liquid instruments in currencies, interest rates, commodities, and equities. Thiel stated that the big, macroeconomic idea that we had at Clarium, the idée fixe, was the peak oil theory, which was basically that the world was running out of oil, and that there were no easy alternatives. In 2003, Thiel successfully bet that the United States dollar would weaken. In 2004, Thiel spoke of the dot-com bubble having migrated, in effect, into a growing bubble in the financial sector, and specified General Electric and Walmart as vulnerable. In 2005, Clarium saw a 57.1% return as Thiel predicted that the dollar would rally. However, Clarium faltered in 2006 with a 7.8% loss. Citation needed. During this time, the firm sought to profit in the long term from its petrodollar analysis, which foresaw the impending decline in oil supplies and the unsustainable bubble growing in the U.S. housing market. Clarium's assets under management grew after achieving a 40.3% return in 2007 to more than $7 billion by 2008, but fell as financial markets collapsed near the start of 2009. By 2011, after missing out on the economic rebound, many key investors pulled out, reducing the value of Clarium's assets to $350 million, two-thirds of which was Thiel's money. Palantir. Further information: Palantir Technologies. In May 2003, Thiel incorporated Palantir Technologies, a big data analysis company named after the Tolkien artifact. 44. He continues to serve as its chairman as of 2020. Thiel stated that the idea for the company was based on the realization that the approaches that PayPal had used to fight fraud could be extended into other contexts, like fighting terrorism. He also stated that, after the September 11 attacks, the debate in the United States was, will we have more security with less privacy or less security with more privacy? He envisioned Palantir as providing data mining services to government intelligence agencies that were maximally unintrusive and traceable. Palantir's first backer was the Central Intelligence Agency's venture capital arm InQ Telephone, but the company steadily grew and in 2015 was valued at $20 billion. Thiel was the company's largest shareholder. Facebook. Further information: Facebook section, the Facebook, Thiel investment, and name change. In August 2004, Thiel made a $500,000 angel investment in Facebook for a 10.2% stake in the company and joined Facebook's board. This was the first outside investment in Facebook, and valued the company at $4.9 million. As a board member, Thiel was not actively involved in Facebook's operations. He provided help with timing the various rounds of funding, and Zuckerberg credited Thiel with helping him time Facebook's 2007 Series D, which closed before the 2008 financial crisis. In his book The Facebook Effect, David Kirkpatrick outlines how Thiel came to make this investment. Napster co-founder Sean Parker, who at the time had assumed the title of president of Facebook, was seeking investors. Parker approached Reid Hoffman, the CEO of work-based social network LinkedIn. Hoffman liked Facebook but declined to become lead investor because of the potential for conflict of interest. Hoffman directed Parker to Thiel, whom he knew from their PayPal days. Thiel met Parker and Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg. Thiel and Zuckerberg got along well, and Thiel agreed to lead Facebook's seed round with $500,000 for 10.2% of the company. The investment was originally in the form of a convertible note, to be converted to equity if Facebook reached 1.5 million users by the end of 2004. Although Facebook narrowly missed the target, Thiel allowed the loan to be converted to equity anyway. Thiel said of his investment, "I was comfortable with them pursuing their original vision. And it was a very reasonable valuation. I thought it was going to be a pretty safe investment." In September 2010, Thiel, while expressing skepticism about the potential for growth in the consumer internet sector, argued that relative to other internet companies, Facebook, which then had a secondary market valuation of $30 billion, was comparatively undervalued. Facebook's initial public offering was in May 2012, with a market cap of nearly $100 billion, $38 a share, at which time Thiel sold 16.8 million shares for $638 million. In August 2012, immediately upon the conclusion of the early investor lockup period, Thiel sold almost all of his remaining stake for between $19.27 and $20.69 per share, or $395.8 million, for a total of more than $1 billion. He retained his seat on the board of directors. In 2016, he sold a little under 1 million of his shares for around $100 million. In November 2017, he sold another 160,805 shares for $29 million, putting his holdings in Facebook at 59,913 Class A shares. As of April 2020, he owned less than 10,000 shares in Facebook. Founders Fund. Further information, Founders Fund. In 2005, Thiel created Founders Fund, a San Francisco-based venture capital fund. Other partners in the fund include Sean Parker, Ken Howery, and Luke Nosek. In addition to Facebook, Thiel made early-stage investments in numerous startups, personally or through Founders Fund, including Airbnb, Slide.com, LinkedIn, Friendster, Rapleaf, Genny.com, Yammer, Yelp Inc., Spotify, PowerSet, Practice Fusion, MetaMed, Veta, SpaceX, Palantir Technologies, Ironport, Votazon, Asana, BigThink, CapLinked, Quora, Nanotronics Imaging, Ripple, TransferWise, Stripe, Blog.one, and AltSchool. In 2017, Founders Fund bought about $15-20 million worth of Bitcoin. In January 2018, the firm told investors that due to the cryptocurrency's surge, the holdings were worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Also in 2017, Thiel was one of the first outside investors in Clearview AI, a facial recognition technology startup that has raised concerns in the tech world and media for its risks of weaponization. Valor Ventures. Further information, Valor Ventures. Through Valor Ventures, an internationally focused venture firm he co-founded with Andrew McCormick and James Fitzgerald, Thiel was an early investor in Xero, a software firm headquartered in New Zealand. Valor Ventures also invested in New Zealand-based companies Pacific Fibre and BookTrack. Mithril Capital. In June 2012, he launched Mithril Capital Management, named after the fictitious metal in The Lord of the Rings, with Jim O'Neill and A.J. Royan. Unlike Clarium Capital, Mithril Capital, a fund with $402 million at the time of launch, targets companies that are beyond the startup stage and ready to scale up. Y Combinator. In March 2015, Thiel joined Y Combinator as one of 10 part-time partners. In November 2017, it was reported that Y Combinator had severed its ties with Thiel. The business-focused publication Quartz said, while details of the split between Thiel and Y Combinator remains unclear, the unannounced change also highlights a divergence of views. Thiel is Silicon Valley's most outspoken Trump supporter. YC's principals, such as President Sam Altman, have made a point of calling out the threat posed by Trump. Thiel led a $125 million round of funding for Atai Life Sciences, researching the delivery of psychedelic drugs to mental health patients. He invested $12 million of his own funds in the company.